let's go to the word. I want you to meet me in 2 Corinthians. It's going to be our memory verse for the next few weeks. It's going to be our memory verse for the next few weeks. Our memory verse, I'm intentionally reading it out of the CJB because I like the word, I like the way it's mentioned in the CJB. Let me first give you a glimpse of it in the King James. You can keep that CJB up. I'm going to give you a glimpse of it in the King James because it's going to sound familiar to you. The King James says it like this: while we look on things which are seen, while we will look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. The CJB on your screen is like this: we concentrate not on what is seen, but on what's not seen. This is jazz. That's why when you asked me the question, where's everybody at? I said, I'm concentrating on what's not seen. Since things which are seen are temporary, but things which are not seen are eternal. Let's go for the text for this, to the text for this week in 2 Kings chapter 15. 2 Kings chapter 15 says, when the servant of the man of God got up in the morning and went outside. Chapter 6, verse 15, I'm sorry. 2 Kings chapter 6, verse 15. When the servant of the man of God got up in the morning and went outside, he saw troops, horses, and chariots surrounding the city. Elisha's servant asked, Master, what should we do? Elisha answered, don't be afraid. We have more forces on our side than they do on theirs. Verse 17 and last, then Elisha prayed, Master, please, Yahweh, please open his eyes so that he may see. Yahweh, open the servant's eyes and let him see. The mountain around Elisha was full of fiery horses and chariots. I want to begin a new series today. The series is called I Can't Believe My Eyes. We're going to be here for a while. I can't believe my eyes. But our sermon's topic today is, can you see what I see? Can you ask somebody, can you see what I see? Find somebody else that will scream it at you, give you the energy that you're looking for. Come on, tell somebody, can you see what I see? And those of you that are watching online and YouTube in the chat, I want you to drop that in the chat as we say it one more time. Go and say, can you see what I see? Father, we bless you. We give your name glory. We give your name honor. Give your name praise. Thank you for this here preaching and teaching moment. I pray that even as I open my mouth that you might fill it. Call him that hath an ear to hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. Let it produce some 30-fold, some 60-fold, some 100-fold in Yeshua's name. One more time, can you say, can you see what I see? Clap your hands as you're taking your seat. Clap your hands as you're taking your seat. We just came out of a series called Let It Go. And towards the latter end of that series, we started talking about coming out of the darkness and stepping into the light. Y'all have been dealing with me concerning this series for some time now on the subject topic, I can't believe my eyes. In this series, we're going to be talking mainly about how we can't rely or trust in just simply what our physical eyes see. Are y'all hearing this? That our faith and our trust, our hope is in not what our physical eyes see. So we're not relying on our 2020 vision. We're relying on what Yahweh says to us. You have to understand, our memory verse says that we concentrate on what is not seen. Sorry, we concentrate not on what is seen, but what is not seen. since the things seen are temporary, but the things not seen are eternal. That is where our concentration, our focus is not on the things that is seen, but on the things that internal. All of us, our hope is built on what we don't see. In fact, Paul says in Romans, if a man seeth, why does he yet hope for it? He says that we hope for what we do not see. We are hoping for something that we do not see. We're hoping for a life that we do not see. Mother McEwen, Paul says that if in this life we alone had hope, would be of all men most miserable. That means, pardon me, bless you. that means that my hope is not based upon what I see, but it's based upon what I don't see. That's the reason why most of us can attest and can say that we have joy. It's not, we don't have joy because of what we are experiencing right now. We have joy because of what we believe that Yahweh has for us. And even though we don't see exactly what it is, and even though we don't see exactly when it shall take place, we have hope because we believe it before we have it. In fact, your Bible declares that that's how you ought to pray. He says that if you believe that you have these things, he said if you believe that you receive these things, that you will have it. So that means you have to believe that you receive it before it even becomes tangible. You've got to believe that it's yours before it's in your hands. You've got to believe that you possess it before you have access to it. You have to believe that you have it before you see it. I heard one person says, I've got to see it before I see it, or else I'll never see it. You've got to see yourself. And that's why it's hard to get people like myself down, because I see myself in greater. Can anybody else attest to that no matter where you are right now in life, you see yourself greater. You see yourself, I don't know who's going to testify to this, but I see myself debt free. Come on, somebody. Yeah. I see myself prosperous. I see myself doing great things. I see myself in the future because I'm not looking on the things which I can see, because the things that I'm seeing right now, Sister Amara, are temporal. That means that even what I'm experiencing is temporary. I'm looking on what I do not see. Let me start here, y'all. I want to help you understand that two people can be looking at the same picture and see two totally different things. Two of us, I think Mother McEwen preached this on a Wednesday night. I'm not sure who preached it on a Wednesday night, but they talked about the vision, and they talked about how two people can be looking at the same thing and see two different pictures because the picture changes based upon the lens. Y'all hear this? There are some of us here, a lot of us here that have glasses. In fact, I think folk with glasses might outnumber those who don't have glasses. Amen. And even those who are not wearing them should be wearing them, y'all. But the picture changes. Anyone that wears glasses, you can know that you can stay right where you are and look at a picture with your glasses and then take those glasses off and see something completely different. Are y'all hear what I'm saying? Y'all, because you two people can be looking at the same thing and see two different images. I'll give you an example here, because in Numbers the 13th chapter and the 33rd verse, Israel, they were sent to spy out the land. They were sent to spy out the land. And First Lady, there were 12 spies that came back, and you would think that with 12 spies going to see the same place, that all of them would have the same report. But the Bible declares that when the 12 went out to see the same place, that 10 came back with an evil report and 2 came back with a good report. Can I tell you that sometimes you can't fall in line with the majority, because some majority, they see the negative in situations, y'all. They see how you can't win. They see how you can't overcome. The Bible declares that some said that we saw giants. When they came back, there were some that said we see giants, and they say we felt small as grasshoppers, and that's how they must have looked at us. But there were 2 named Joshua and Caleb, and when they came back, they weren't reporting about giants. Joshua and Caleb were saying, let's go now and take possession of the land. We should be more than able to conquer it. Joshua and Caleb is saying, don't fear it. Don't fear the people, because they are bread for us. The King James says, we'll eat them up. The protection is turned aside from them, but Yahweh is with us. Don't fear them. So, Sister Amel, there were 12 that went out, but 2 came back with a good report, and 10 came back with an evil report. How is that possible if we're all looking at the same picture? Are y'all hearing this? Can I tell you that when facing Goliath, that the men of Israel, they also said that they saw a giant. And the Bible declares, and all the men of Israel saw Goliath, they fled. Y'all hear this? When they saw Goliath, Taisha, the men of Israel, they fled from Goliath. But when David sees Goliath, your Bible says that David ran towards him. Are y'all hearing this? They both saw the same Goliath, but one perspective caused the people to flee and to hide and fear. But when David saw that same Goliath, David is not running from Goliath, but David is running to Goliath. So we can see the same thing, but get 2 different pictures from it. Are you hearing this? I'll give you another one. When Yeshua fed the multitude, y'all, can I tell you that in John 6, Yeshua feeds the multitude. And when he asks them, what do you have? They told him, all we have here are 5 loaves and 2 fish. And their ideal, Mother McEwen, was to send them away because we don't have enough. But that's not what Yeshua saw. When Yeshua sees it, he says that y'all got more than enough. He tells them, don't send them away. He says, you give them something to feed, something to eat. That means we can be looking at the same meal, and someone sees it as not enough, but someone else sees it as more than enough. You've got to understand that your perspective will determine how you see, how you treat the situation. The question now becomes, can you see what's in front of you? Yikes. Can you see? You would think that because it's in front of you, you would see it plainly. Let me give you an illustration, because my wife and I, every now and then, will be downstairs, Sister Amy, and we'll send EJ to go get some. We'll be like, go upstairs and look on the dresser. You will see Emery's bottle. Bring the bottle downstairs. EJ will go upstairs to the room we sent him. He will walk around the room and literally be standing in front of the dresser, and he will say, I don't see it. EJ, look on the dresser, you will see the bottle for Emery. Mom, Dad, I don't see Emery's bottle. You would think that because it's right in front of you that you would see it. And ladies and gentlemen, I know I'm talking about my son EJ, but what if I told you that there are some things, Father, help me here, that are right in front of you, but you don't see it? What if I told you that you've been praying and you've been fasting, you've been seeking Yahweh for answers, and you've been asking, Father, help me with this and fix this. And what if the very thing that you've been praying for is right in front of you, but you don't see it? And he's telling you it's right there. And you saying, Father, give me. Father, help me. Father, give me an idea. Give me a raise. And he says, I done told you what to do. But you're coming back and forth to prayer saying, Father, help me. He says, if you look, it's right in front of you. You can be looking at something and not see it. Even though your eyes are faced in that direction, even though the object is in your peripheral, you can be looking at something and not see it. I'm going to get on somebody's nerves here, but let me talk to my single folk, because you can be looking at your mate and not see it. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. Why are y'all so quiet in here, church? You can be looking at your future husband, looking at your future spouse, saying, Father, I need a good man. I need a man. Y'all quiet in here in this church. I need someone that's going to treat me right. Father, I need a saved and sanctified woman. And you looking at exactly what you've been asking for, but for some reason you don't see it. Let me testify. Let me pick on and brag on my wife, because my wife saw me, but she didn't see me. Yeah. When she saw me, she didn't see me. She didn't see me as her husband, y'all. It took a few months, y'all, for her to see me. She used to see me every Sunday. She was in charge of giving me my check. She saw me. She met me every Sunday. But she didn't see I was going to be the father of her kids. She didn't know that her kids would call me daddy. Yeah, she didn't know. She didn't see it. She had been praying for things, but I was right in front of her, but she didn't see it. I want to say to you that something can be right in front of you. Come on, ask your neighbor, do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Do you see it? Because you've been asking Yahweh for something, but you've been saying that you don't see it. You can be looking in that direction and still not see it. It could be in your face, in your sight line, in your view, and you still not see it, recognize it, realize it, notice it, or be aware of it. The same thing happens. Yahweh says in Isaiah 43, Mother McEwen, Yahweh says, behold, I will do a new thing. He says, now it springs forth. Will you not know it? He says, I'm doing a new thing right now, but you can't even see what I'm doing. Even though I'm doing it right in front of your face, you can be looking at something and not know what it is, meaning that you don't recognize it, you don't understand it, you don't perceive it, you don't grasp it, you don't comprehend it. We see this illustration with the woman at the well, Sister Ruth, because the woman at the well, she was talking to the Messiah, but she didn't realize, she didn't recognize it was him. She says to him, I know that when the Messiah is coming, and whenever he comes, he will tell us everything. And you know what Yeshua says? Yeshua says, I am the one speaking to you right now. You've been looking for the Messiah, but the Messiah is the one that's at the well talking to you right now. You can be looking at something and not only not see it, but here it is, but not see it for what it is and what it's worth. Some of us, you've had opportunities in your life, and your opportunities passed you by because you didn't see it for what it is and what it's worth. Are y'all hearing this? You've had great windows and opportunities in your life, and had you been able to recognize, that's what Yeshua says to the woman at the well, Sister Emery, because he asked her for water. And he says, if you knew who this was that is asking you for water, he says you would have asked him and he would have given you water. And he says so much water, the kind of water that you would never thirst again. Y'all, if you don't see it for what it's worth, if you don't see what's in front of you for what it is, you won't value it. If you don't see something in front of you for what it's worth, you won't give it the attention that it deserves. You won't give it the appreciation that it deserves. And you won't take advantage of it. Don't you know, since I talked to my single folk, let me talk to married folk. Brother Jay, can I tell you that there are some people that are itching to get out of relationships because you don't appreciate what's in front of you. There are some folk that feel like the grass is greener on the other side until you get to the other side and you find out how much the water bill is. You feel like the grass is greener. Have y'all ever, this may not have happened to you, but have y'all ever been on a date that was false advertisement? Ooh, my goodness. Have you ever had somebody talk a good game to you, but when you actually link up, it's like, I remember a few times when a waiter came to me, we sat down and waited to eat. He said, "Can I help you with something?" "Yes, the check." "Check, please." Y'all, can I tell you that sometimes we don't take advantage of things, we don't appreciate it, we don't give it the attention it deserves, even though it's right here in front of us. Yeshua says in Luke 19:41, he said about concerning Jerusalem, if you had only known on this day the things that belong to your peace, but now they are hidden from your eyes, for the days will come where your enemies will demolish you and your children, all because you did not recognize your time of visitation. That means that an opportunity can be right here, right now, and you don't recognize it. Come on, ask somebody, do you see it? Do you see it? I want to tell you, saints, that our eyes should always be on Yeshua. Let me testify, Sister Jazz, Sister Acts. That's why I can't get discouraged, because in today's times, I understand that 1 minute our fellowship could be packed to where, we're almost at capacity, and the next minute I could be preaching to the cameras. I found out, Sister Dawn, I found out, like Paul, that I've learned that in whatever state I'm in, that therewith to be content, y'all. I've known Mother McEwen, how Mother Bat used to say, swim and save yourself, y'all. I don't know who's going to show up. I don't know who's going to be in attendance. I know what I was called to do. I know the relationship that I have with Yahweh. I know that my eyes got to be on him. The songwriter said, Sister Ruth, turn your eyes on Yeshua. Look full and in his wonderful face. And then it says, and the things of this earth will grow strangely dim in the light of his glory and grace. Sister Taisha sings a song, says, "Yeah, I look to you. You're where my help comes from," y'all. We sang not too long ago, "Look and live, my brother, live." Look to Yeshua now and live. Looking to him is having your eyes and your attention on his face. It's you seeking his presence. David says, "You said unto me, seek my face, and my heart said unto you, thy face, O Yahweh, will I seek." It's seeking his power, his provision, his peace, his protection. All of these things are in the presence of Yahweh. Peace is in the presence of Yahweh. Protection is in the presence of Yahweh. Psalms 31:20 says, "You will hide me in the secret place of your presence." Psalms 25:7 says that in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in the pavilion, in the secret place of his tabernacle shall he hide me. Because when we look to him, our source is him. Our protection is in him. Our peace is in him. Our provision is in him. When we look to him, come on, tell somebody, look to him, look to him. Look. Come on, tell somebody, I don't know what's going on in your life, but look to him. Y'all ain't talking. Come on, say, I don't know what's going on in your life, but look to him. I want to tell y'all something, that when you look to him, when you live in his presence, Yahweh literally surrounds you with his angels. Sister Taisha, I found out that in Psalms 34:7, the Bible declares that the angel of Yahweh encamps around those who fear him to deliver them. That means they settle or they establish camp, especially a military one. The Bible declares in Exodus 23:12 20 that Yahweh's angels go before thee. The Bible declares in Exodus 14 that his angels will go behind you. In Psalms 91, he says that his angels will keep you. He says that there shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling, for he shall give his angels charge over thee to keep thee in all thy ways, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. That means that when your focus is on him, he makes sure that you got everything you need. He makes sure that you're protected. He makes sure that you don't lack for anything. The Bible declares that the young lions do lack and suffer hunger, but they that trust Yahweh, they that wait on Yahweh shall lack no good thing. Let's look at the text now, because I want to catch you up to what's going on in 2 Kings. I want to catch you up on what's going on in 2 Kings, what's happening with Elisha. Because Elisha is a prophet, and in those days, prophets were called seers, y'all. And Elisha is a prophet of Yahweh. And what Elisha is going through is because Elisha would warn a certain people in a certain place. And they would heed the warning of Elisha. Elisha would say to the man of God, he said to the king of Israel, saying, beware that thou pass not through such a place, for thither the Syrians are come down. And the Bible declares in verse 10 that the king of Israel sent unto the place which the man of God told him and warned him of, and saved himself there, not once but twice. But thereafter the heart of the king of Syria was sore troubled for this thing, and they called his servants and said unto him, will ye not show me which one of us is for the king of Israel? The king of Syria, they became so distraught because they thought someone in their camp had betrayed them. But it was only because Elisha the prophet was seeing what was going on in the enemy's camp and warning the people of Yahweh. But when this happens, the people of the people of Syria now begin to launch an attack against Elisha. They send out soldiers to capture Elisha, and that's what brings us to our text in Second Kings, y'all, pardon me, in 6 and 15, the Bible declares that when the servant of the man of God got up in the morning and went outside, he saw troops and horses and chariots surrounding the city. Sister Mara, Elisha's servant woke up in the morning, and when he got up in the morning, he sees troops and horses and chariots surrounding the city. I don't know who's ever experienced this here, but have you ever woke up to trouble? Y'all, have you ever woke up to a phone call? I'm talking about at the beginning of your day. Have you ever woke up to a bill? Have you ever woke up to a letter? The first thing you see getting up. Some of us, if we be honest, that be the drag sometimes getting out of bed. Come on. It's not the day itself. It's what's ahead of us in this day. Oh, some of us, you wake up, and the reason why you want 5 more minutes is because you think about everything that you got to go through today. You think about what's going on with the job, what's going on in your family, what's going on in your health, what's going on with your bills, what's going on in your environment, what's going on all around you. Elisha's servant says that woke up, and when he wakes up, all he sees is opposition. I don't know who I'm talking to here. When he wakes up, Brother Jay, he steps outside, and the first thing, help me here, Father, because some of us, we wish, can I just get a break? Can I get 5 minutes where everything is all right? Can I just get a day where there's no problems, no trouble, no nothing? And the first thing he sees when he wakes up, I'm just starting my day, and here comes trouble. And it'd be one thing if it was just one problem, but the Bible declares that when he looked around him, it seems like trouble is surrounding. Who is guys ever felt like that? I just feel like trouble surrounds me. That everywhere I look, there's a problem. If I look at something going on in my house, there's a problem. At work, there's a problem. At church, there's a problem. In my car, there's a problem. In my body, there's a problem. It just looks like it'd be one thing if I could look in one direction and not see my problem. But when you're surrounded, it looks like everywhere I turn, I see a problem. Can't go to the right. Can't go to the left. I'm surrounded. Behind me, in front of me, to my side, it looks like I'm surrounded. And here's the thing, y'all. When you're surrounded, it can give you a sense of hopelessness. Because when you're surrounded, I don't know who's going to be real here, but there are some folk that feels like I can't escape. That everywhere I look, there's an issue. I cannot. That's the purpose of something surrounding you. It's when something surrounds you, when your opposition surrounds you, it surrounds you so that you can't escape by any side. And it presents a feeling of hopelessness because everywhere I look, it seems to be a problem. Here's the thing, because the key word, Brother Jay, is the Bible declares that when he woke up in the morning, he saw troops. Ask somebody, what are you looking at? What are you looking at? What are you looking at? Yo, I want to help you understand, because you have to understand, Sister Jasmine, there is a difference between what you see and what you focus on. There's a difference, y'all. You can't help what you see. You can only control what you're focusing on. Y'all talk to me. Because in your life, you will see several things. But the key, I don't want y'all to miss this. The key, y'all tell somebody here, say the key to your sanity is what you focus on. Tell somebody else that needs to hear this. Come on, say the key to your sanity is what you focus on. You do not have the mental or the physical capacity to focus on everything that you look at. In fact, if you try to focus on everything you looked at, that's called being distracted. That they would classify that as attention deficit disorder. That means you can't give your attention to something long enough. And maturity is you being able to understand and control the difference between what I see versus what I look at. That means sometimes I'm not going on social media today because I don't want to focus on that. That means sometimes I got to turn off Fox News and CNN and ABC and CNN because I got to choose the difference between what I'm looking at and what I focus on, y'all. Because if I'm looking everywhere, it's going to be easy to move me, to get me afraid. News is good. I feel like I'm in the house. Let me come down. Somebody's like, it's good to watch the news. Let me look straight. It's good to be aware. It's good to be informed. But every now and then, I feel something here. Every now and then, you got to turn off CNN. You got to turn off Fox News and ABC because you got to distinguish between what I see versus what I focus on. There's a difference between, y'all hear this, what I notice and what I concentrate on. There's a difference between what I'm aware of and what I give my attention to. Why am I saying this? Because Brother Jay, I don't know who can get here. I don't know who's gotten here. But at this point in my life, there are certain things that don't deserve my attention. Come on, y'all. There was a time in your life where if somebody gave you the wrong look, you would address that on the spot. There was a time in your life where if you heard somebody was talking to you, talking about you, you would get on the phone and you say, I heard you say, there was a time in your life for some of us, if somebody stepped on your shoe, you go undress that. But I've gotten to a place in my life where certain things don't deserve my attention. That's why I'm not going to respond to everything you say about me. That's why I'm not trying to call up every Tom, Dick, and Harry in here and find out that this person say this. That's why I'm not going to respond to every Facebook post about me, because I've got to decide in my life the difference between what I see and what I focus on, what I'm aware of and what I give my attention to. I'm aware of it. I just don't got time for that. What that woman say, ain't nobody got time for that. You cannot win in life if your attention is scattered. You cannot win in this walk if your attention is diverted. You've got to choose between what you're aware of and what has your attention. This is why I want to tell you this, because the wrong focus can cause fear. Oh, y'all hearing me, church? The wrong focus can cause fear. If you're focused on the wrong thing, it can cause fear. Your perspective of the right thing. You can be looking at the right thing and it looks wrong because you're already afraid. Can I tell you that when Yeshua came to the disciples walking on the water, they thought they saw a ghost, but it was Yeshua. And because of their perspective caused them to fear, even though the right thing is coming towards them. Your wrong perspective can cause fear. So you've got to learn how to focus on the right thing. The Bible declares that when the servant got up, he saw troops, he saw horses, he saw chariots surrounding the city, and he said, so horses surrounding the city. And Elisha's servant asked, he said, Master, here's the next thing y'all hear. He says, Master, what should we do? Y'all hear this, because if we be honest, our natural response to a problem is, what should I do? That is our natural response to a problem. When we see a problem, we are always looking for ways to fix it. We are always wondering, what can I do? What trips us up the most sometimes is we find the need to do something, because we feel like if I don't do something, nothing will be done. Are y'all hearing me, church? So when we see problems, we often have this question, Sister Maisha, what should I do? And here's what will triple us, because we'll spend, Brother Jay, all night trying to fix a problem. Who can I call? Y'all ain't never been here. Who can I get to lend me money till Friday? Y'all ain't never been there. Huh? Who can I call to find out more about the situation? Y'all not gonna tell the truth, but some of us, you've wondered, who can I call to fight such a person? Y'all quiet in this church. You begin to wonder, how much money can I scrape up by the end of this week? What can I do to get out of the situation? And here's what I love Elisha's responses to Ammon, because Elisha's servant says, what should we do? And Elisha's going to tell his servant exactly what to do. Go to the next verse. Look at verse 16. Elisha answered, y'all hear this, don't be afraid. Can you tell somebody in this season, this is what I want you to do? Don't be afraid. Come on, tell somebody, say, in this season, scrap that, say, for the rest of your life, this is what I want you to do. Don't be afraid. Sometimes the prescription for what you're looking for is not actually action. It's simply not being afraid. when Elisha responds to his servant, Elisha doesn't say, call so-and-so, text so-and-so. He doesn't say, send a message to so-and-so, grab the sword, grab the spear. He says, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to be afraid. He says, you can't be afraid. Why? Because the thing to do is to be still. To be still. Oftentimes, Yahweh's trying to get us to do is not be afraid. Do you know how many times he's entered the stage, entered the scene and said, the first thing he says is, don't be afraid? Can I tell you that the exact same thing he says to Israel when they see Pharaoh's army come behind them? He says, stand still and fear not. In 2 Chronicles 20, he tells them, be not dismayed and be not afraid, because the battle is not even yours, it's mine. He tells David in Psalms 46, Mother McEwen, he says, be still and know that I am Yahweh. He says this, I will be exalted among the heathen, and I will be exalted in the earth. So sometimes your answer, y'all hear this, sometimes when it seems like your back is against the wall, sometimes your answer, your prescription is to do nothing. Sister Amy, I don't know, to be honest here, but it's hard to do nothing when I see a bunch of stuff happening around me. It's hard not to do anything when a lot of things are going on around me. But Elisha's answer to his servant was, don't be afraid. Now, here's why you can't be afraid, y'all. Because in verse 16, Elisha says, don't be afraid. Why? Because we have more forces on our side than they do on theirs. Oh, can you tell somebody there's more on your side? Tell somebody there's more on your side. Now, what's crazy about this is because Elisha's servant can clearly see troops. I can clearly see soldiers. I can clearly see an army, and it's not one or two of them. It's not 5 or 10 of them. It's not a few here and there. They're surrounded. Not my house. Surrounded the city. You know how many folk it takes to surround the city? It takes a lot of people to surround. Okay, if I wanted to surround New Rochelle, that would take a lot of folk. But if I wanted to surround this block, it would take a lot of folk. But if I wanted to surround the city, it would take a lot of people. And Elisha is saying, I know you see a lot of people, but we actually got more on our side. We got more on our side than they do on theirs. Why? Because Sister Ruth, 1 John 4 says that greater, come on somebody, is he that is in me than he that is in the world. That's why we're confident that no weapon formed against us shall prosper. Yahweh tells Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1:19 that they shall fight against you, but they will not prevail, for I am with thee, saith Yahweh, to deliver thee. What is the more? Elisha, I hear you telling me that there is more with us, but I only see me and you. So how do me and you equal more than them? It's more because we have an unseen guest. Y'all ain't talking to me. We have a guest. We got a host with us. It's more because anytime Yahweh is on your side, Yahweh plus you equals more. Y'all ain't talking to me. Anytime Yahweh is on your side, I don't care what's against you, Yahweh plus you equals more. I'm going to keep it a buck with you, that even if you ain't on Yahweh's side, he is the majority. But especially if you're on his side, you've got to understand that as long as Yahweh's with you, it don't matter who's against you. I hear Paul say in Romans that if Yahweh be for us, who can be against us? I heard David say in Psalms 46 that Yahweh of hosts is with us, and the Elohim of Jacob is our refuge. You've got to understand there is more on your side than there is on theirs. Come on, touch somebody that needs to hear this. Come on, say there's more on your side. There is more on your side. I know you can't see it, but some of you are downcast because all you see is the things that are working against you. All you see are the things that are not happening for you. But if you look around, you'll see that there is actually more happening for you. Let me testify for you for a little bit, because some of you are like, Father, I don't like the place I live. I don't like the car I drive. I don't like the job that I work at. And you say, Father, I got this and against me. But last I checked, you got a job. But last I checked, you don't like your car, but you got a car. Last I checked, that even if you don't got a car, you got legs. And if I check, you got more than one leg. You got two legs. You got more going for you. And that's why it's hard to get me down. Because I might notice some things in my life that are not going the way I want it to go. But I got breath in my body. I got the activity of my limbs. I got food in my cupboard. I don't care if all you eat is ramen noodles. At least you got something to eat. I don't care if you live in a tiny one-bedroom apartment. You got something over your head. I don't care if you drive a beat-up Pinto. At least the engine starts and it gets you from point A to point B. You've got to recognize you got more going for you than you do against you. So Elisha prays. I'm coming down. Look at verse 17. The Bible says Elisha prays. Here's what Elisha's prayer was. Not, Father, deliver me. Not, Father, help me. Elisha prays. Y'all hear this? He says, Yahweh, open his eyes that he might see. Could you do me a favor? Lay your hands on yourself. Say, Father, open my eyes. Come on, one more time. Look to heaven and say, Father, open my eyes. Now find somebody to the right or left of you and pray for them. Say, Father, open. You can say their name. Come on, open Sister Jasmine's eyes. Open Brother Jason. Come on, find somebody. Say, put their name on it. Says, open their eyes. Open Brother Jay's eyes. Open their eyes. Here's why Elijah prays this, y'all. Sister Jasmine, Elijah prays this why? One, because you can't open someone else's eyes. Y'all hear this? This is why I stopped arguing with folk. I've come to the realization that there are some things, no matter what I say, I can't open your eyes. The door, it doesn't matter how bright the light is to the blind, they won't see it. Why? Come on. It does not matter how loud the music is to the deaf, they won't hear it. And it doesn't matter how soft the touch is to those who are paralyzed. They won't feel it. There are certain things that you've got to understand is out of your control. Sister Mary, this is why I ain't going back and forth with certain people, because I understand you just not going to see it. And y'all hear this. This will take stress out of you once you understand I can't open your eyes. What's the saying, Mother McEwen? I can lead a horse to water, but I cannot force the horse to drink. You can, and there are some folk, oh my goodness, there are some folk where you have explained yourself time in and time out again to them, and they still don't get it. They still want to argue, and you have to understand, I can't open your eyes. Elijah prays to Yahweh because Yahweh is the only one that can open somebody's eyes. Y'all hear this? You have to understand that Yahweh is the one that can do it. It's a request. It's a petition. It's a petition for Yahweh to do something that you cannot do. Can I tell you that even when it comes to your own eyes, you can't open it? There are certain things, we're going to talk about this later in the series, but there are certain things at this stage of your life your eyes are not open to. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. They walked with Yeshua the Messiah and didn't even know it was him. I'm talking about his disciples were walking with him and didn't even know it was him. There are certain things that your eyes are not open to right because it's not the season. You're not ready for it. You're not mature enough for it. You can't handle it right now. There are certain things that your eyes are not open to yet right now. And when it comes on even to the opening of your eyes, Yahweh's the one that has to do it. Oh, you hear this? So Yahweh prays. He says, open his eyes. Come on, somebody say, open their eyes, open their eyes. Come on. Come on, say, open their eyes. Y'all hear this? He says, open his eyes so that he might see. Can I help y'all understand this? When you see something differently, you will treat it differently. I want to make you aware of something. Certain people treat you the way they treat you because that's how they see you. You hear me? There are some people that will treat you like a priority because you are a priority. There are some people, y'all hear this, there are some people that will treat you like a burden because they feel like you're a burden. Y'all hear this? You will not treat the situation any differently than you see it. So if you see danger, you'll treat it like danger. If you see an opportunity, you will treat it like it's an opportunity. He says, watch this. Elijah's praying. He says, I want you to open his eyes so that he might see. Y'all hear this? This is why it's profound to me because nothing, Brother Jay, nothing has been added to the scenario. Goodness. Y'all hear this? Nothing has been added to the scenario. It'd be one thing if Elijah prayed for help. And a lot of times, y'all hear this, a lot of times we want Yahweh to add things to our life, but the truth matters, we just need him to reveal things. There are some things that are right here, but you don't see it. And you keep on praying for addition when what you really need is revelation. Is this helping somebody here? Brother Jay, Moses stood at the Red Sea, and he said, the Israelites were crying, what we going to do? And Yahweh looks at Moses and says, why are you crying to me? You have a staff in your hand. The same staff he had in his hand was able to part the Red Sea. And Moses asking for help. Father, add, what we going to do? Father, send help. He says, you have it in your hands already. Are you hearing this? And there are certain things that we're praying for Yahweh, Father, add, y'all not going to like me here. Father, add more money to me. Ooh, church, where's my amen? Add more money to me. Ooh. Father, add a bigger payroll, add a raise to me. And the truth of the matter is some of us, you don't need addition, you need revelation on discipline. Father, show me how to use what I have. Because for some of us, even the addition that we're praying for is not going to come from it falling from the sky. It's going to come from multiplying what we already have in our hands. Father, how do I multiply? Don't you know that you can have an apple in your hand and only see an apple, but some person might see an apple, or another person might see a forest, because in my hand is not only the apple, but the seed, and some of you only see the seed, but I don't just see one seed, I see a multitude of trees. Father, give me a forest. You got a forest in your hand. You got a forest in your hand, and the only reason why you don't see a tree is because you're looking at a seed. He says, open his eyes so that he might see. Open his eyes so that he might have the proper perspective. This should be a prayer for you, your family, your church, your friends, your enemies, your co-workers, your Instagram followers. Your prayer should be, Father, open their eyes so they might see. I want to tell you this. When Yahweh opens your eyes, you'll see that the very thing that you thought was a threat was not a threat at all. Y'all, all it's going to take is him opening your eyes. Watch this. Let me see right here. Brother, you can play it. He says, Yahweh, open the servant's eyes. I love this part. Mother McEwen, it says Yahweh opened the servant's eyes and let him see. It's a let. Allow him to see. Y'all hear this? And when he saw, Sister Dawn, when he saw the mountain around Elisha was full of horses and of fiery horses and chariots. It was the heavenly host. It was the angels that came to do battle on Elisha's behalf. Here's the thing about this, Brother Jay. Elisha remained calm because he can see. The servant was panicking because he could not see. And Brother McHugh, you help me preach. They're standing in the same place, same house, same yard. And both of them are looking at two different pictures. One picture has this one person be calm. And another picture has the other person fear and panicked. Are y'all hearing this? One perspective has someone perfectly still and not worried at all. And the other perspective has somebody frantic and worried, looking at the same thing. Open his eyes so that he might see. Sister Dawn, here's the part that blessed me. Because I don't think those chariots and those horses surrounding Elijah, the fire, the heavenly hosts, I don't think they just got here. They didn't arrive at the problem. Oh man, I wish I would hear this part. I wish I would comprehend this part. The angels that surrounded Elisha did not arrive when the problem arrived. Are y'all getting this? They've been here. They were here before the problem. They were always around Elisha. It's the first time the servant is seeing it. And for some of us, your life is going to change. Not necessarily by and when the situation change, but when you actually begin to see the truth of the situation and what it is. Some of you that have been struggling to sleep at night, you're going to sleep better, not because the situation has changed, but now I have a brand new look about the situation. It's going to change not because your job changed, but because I have a new perspective. I have a new look. I have a new understanding about this job and how temporary and Yahweh's future for me. Your life is going to change. Now, some of us, we want the situation, Father, preach to my own self. Some of us, you want the situation to change. And he says, even though the situation is going to change, your life will change before the situation changes. Your demeanor and your composure will change before the situation changes, because you will recognize what's in front of you. Oh, my goodness. Can I tell you, Mother McEwen, the disciples were on the boat. And Yeshua, before he calms the storm around them, he calms the storm in them. Are y'all hearing this? Y'all listen. They are still in the storm when he tells them to be still. They are still in an active storm when he tells them not to be afraid. Why? He says, this is getting good to me. He says, be not afraid, it's me. So you not being afraid does not come with the storm being over. It comes with you understanding who's in the storm with you. My goodness, where's my church here? You've been waiting for the situation to be over for you not to be afraid. And he says you're going to gain your calm, not when the situation is over. You'll gain calm by understanding who's in the storm with you. So nothing changed for Elisha's servant, but how he sees this situation. Would you do me a favor? Would you ask somebody, say, how do you see it? How do you see it? are you seeing the obstacle ahead of you? And does your perspective cause you to be calm, or does it cause you to be frantic? Does what you're seeing right now cause worry and fear, or does it cause peace and tranquility? Because the way you feel is based upon what you're focused on. Y'all, this wasn't in my sermon, but can you tell somebody you won't feel better than your focus? Tell somebody you won't feel better than your focus. That is a hashtag. Somebody watching online, hashtag that for me. Someone say, you will not feel better than your focus. So if you're focused on good things, you'll feel good things. Why do you think Paul says, Mother McEwen, he says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, make your requests known. He says, and the peace of Yahweh, which passeth all understanding, shall guard your heart and your mind through love of Yeshua. Guess what he says? He says, this is what to focus on. He says, now, think on these things. Whatsoever is true, whatsoever is lovely, whateversoever is honest, whatsoever is of good report, think on these things. Why? He's telling you to think on these things because you will not feel better than what you're focused on. And if you are focused on things that have you fearful, you will feel panicked and afraid and timid, and you'll feel frantic because that's what your focus is. The only thing that Elisha prayed for his servant is, Father, change his focus. Not give him a new car, not give him a new house, not give him a new job. Father, where we are right, somebody pray that. I'm done here, but somebody pray this over yourself. Say, Father, for where I am right now. Come on, y'all say this. For where I am right now, help me to see. Help me to see the things, help me to see things the way you have it. Help me to see what you see, Father. Help me to see the way you see it. One more time, say, for where I am right now, change my focus. Oh, Father, help me here. Change my focus. Because a lot of us, you feel like you won't get rest until the situation changes. You feel like you won't get rest until I get a bit better job. You feel like I won't get rest until I'm finally married. You feel like I won't get rest until I change cities. You feel like I won't get rest until my situation changes. Yahweh says your rest doesn't start with the situation. You know why your rest doesn't start when the situation changes? Because that means your rest is predicated on the situation. And in your life, situations will change, but your peace is never supposed to change. Your Bible says, I will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind, what? Is stayed on me, who has the right focus. He says, if you're looking at me, you'll always remain calm. He says, if you see me in the picture, you'll never have a reason to fear. If you see me standing around you, surrounding you, you'll never be frantic. You've got to change what you're focused on. So I'm going to end here by asking you all this question. Ask your neighbor, say, can you see what I see? Can you? Somebody start declaring, I see victory. I see, come on, put something on your lips. Say, I see me coming out. I see my family healed. Come on, I see me healthy. I see me wealthy. I see me saved. I see my family saved. Come on, start declaring it. For I see it. Come on, you got to see it. I see me coming out of this. I see this thing not being my end. You've got to learn how not to rely on your eyesight. You've got to learn how to rely on what Yahweh told you. Do y'all receive it? Come on, somebody clap your hands right here and give Yahweh praise. Come on, clap your hands right here. Come on, stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. Stand on your feet. Come on, tell somebody in this series, Yahweh's going to challenge you on what you're looking at. He's going to challenge you guys. He's going to challenge you on what you're focused on. He's going to challenge you on how you see it. Some of us We're looking at a situation, but we don't see it for what it's worth. We're looking at an opportunity, but we don't see the opportunity for what it's worth. You have an advantage, but you don't see it as an advantage. You have a gift, but you don't see it as a gift. You have a skill, but you don't see it as a skill. Have you ever looked at somebody and said, if I only had what you had, I'd be just fine? You ever looked at somebody and said, like, if I had the skills you had, child, Sister Jamie, I'm one of the only preachers I know that can't sing. And I'd be looking at preachers like, if I could just sing. But can I tell you, there are things that you do have in your possession, in your arsenal, and you've got to be aware of what's already in front of you. Whew. You got to be aware of what's already in your possession, what already is in front of you. You've got to change the way you look at it. You can't rely on the situation to change. Your perspective has to change first. Father, we glorify you. We magnify you. We give your name praise. Thank you for your grace. Thank you for your mercies. Thank you for your love. Father, I bless you for today. I pray that you please help us to kul rabban samahasha. Help us to see things the way you want us to see it. You want us to see it. Help us not to rely on our eyesight. Your word declares that we walk by faith and not by sight. Father, help us to see things the way you want us to see it. Help us not to rely on our human eyesight and perspective. We'll be ever careful to give your name all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise in Yeshua's name. Come on, somebody clap your hands and give Yahweh praise. Hallelujah. Clap your hands one more time, give Yahweh